What do you think about the evolution of, you know what I'm saying, the rap game, you know what I'm saying, over the last, decade or so, as well as the R&B, with the streaming coming in and, the attention span going down, so, records are kind of, it's being tailored a certain way, like what?
Right. I personally feel like you have to know how to maneuver through these times, because just like you said, people's attention spans are real short. So I feel like a lot of the moves that you need to make as an artist have to be a little bit more strategic now. You definitely, because you have so many platforms out there that can be effective when it comes down to building a hit record or whatnot. So I feel like nowadays artists have to kind of take into consideration, okay, so if I make a song today, is this record going to be big on a platform like TikTok? TikTok is responsible for making a lot of records these days. So I feel like a lot of artists have to take stuff like that into consideration, because if you get a record, somebody comes up with a dance to it, they put it on TikTok and it goes viral, then that's going to translate into a hit record. We didn't have these platforms back in the 90s. It was really just strictly, it was CDs, tapes, and music videos.
Yeah.
But I'm a fan of the way the game is transitioned, though. I feel like music is in a pretty good place now. It's a lot of people out there with a lot of gimmicks and whatnot, but I get it. You got people with gimmicks and you got people who are going to be around for a long time. But I feel like with streaming being the way it is, it gives the artist a lot more power, because you necessarily don't need a record label like you may have needed one back in the 90s. You know what I'm saying? If you have a pretty good following, you got all your streaming paperwork and whatnot in line, then hey, you put your music on the streaming platforms, you got your business in line, then you can be on to the races. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the accessibility that we have as artists and producers now is probably as best as it's ever been in a long time.
Yeah. Speaking of, talk about a couple of your snippets going viral.
Yeah. So shouts out to Famous Ocean and Kung Fu. So how that situation actually came about, I'm working with another artist by the name of Willie Spence. He's a singer. Shouts out to Willie also. He's on American Idol right now. His first episode premiered last night. So be on the lookout for Willie. Willie's super dope. But they actually have the same management team. So that's kind of how the play was started. I was working with Willie, and then Ocean and Kung Fu actually heard some of my music, so I sent them a pack. And one of the records, they made a trailer to it, posted it on their page, and it got over 100,000 views in less than 24 hours. And that was the first record we ever did together. And there's a lot more to come, but that particular record that they posted on their page picked up a lot of traction pretty quickly. So, but yeah, that's how that situation right there came about.
Yeah. For the people that never heard your music before, how would you describe your sound?
To be honest, man, that's kind of a hard question for me to answer today, because me personally, I feel like I really don't have a distinct sound, because I'm so big on just always trying to recreate myself and be versatile and try not to sound alike on a lot of my beats. So I feel like I don't know, man. Now, I've had people tell me that if they hear one of my beats before my tags drop, they know that I did it. So I guess it just depends on the person, man. But now I do feel like there are certain elements that I implement in a lot of my beats, whether it's a small detail or a bigger detail. I have some of the same methods that I use to make a lot of my records, but I won't necessarily say I have a distinct sound at this point, because if I played 10 beats for you right now, then out of that 10, maybe 1 or 2 may sound similar, but I can play 10 for you right now, all of them will sound like totally different beats. totally different sounds and whatnot. So I can't necessarily say I have a distinct sound, but I guess that's up for the people to decide.
Yeah. What was like your connection like to Macon? Like, did you ever like?
Yeah, shouts out to Macon, man. I've actually worked with a few Macon artists. Shouts out to Ray, formerly known as Young R. Me and him, we go back years and years and years ago. Shouts out to another young artist I'm currently working with now by the name of Drip Goo. Me and Drip got a real good relationship. We've knocked out countless records together. Shouts out to Young Alpo. Me and Alpo actually haven't done any work together, but we've been knowing each other for a minute, so it's just a timing thing. Me and Alpo will definitely get together at some point and knock some work out. Also, shouts out to my other partner, YTB Slime God. Met Slime God a few months ago, and we've been pretty close ever since. We've knocked out a number of records together. Matter of fact, one of his singles, Nobody Likes Me, actually did the production on that beat right there. So shouts out to YTB Slime God. But yeah, shouts out to the whole Macon, man. Macon is it's a historical city when it comes down to music. A lot of history is in Macon. So I feel like whether you from South Georgia like myself, Middle Georgia, you can't not mention Macon. You got to mention Macon when it comes down to having this conversation about music, especially when you're coming up through the ranks. Shouts out to a lot of the DJs from around the way from Macon or in the Macon area. Shouts out to Partner V. Shouts out to DJ Smooth, Ric Flair. Just to name a few. If I forgot anybody, charge it to my mind, not my heart. But yeah, I rock with Macon hard.
Yeah.